Fate of the Furious is the newest, ridiculous Fast and Furious film, and this one was directed by F. Gary Gray. And, I always had a lot of fun with the films, but this one had a little bit too many of goofy things that I just couldn't believe, not related to the car chasing or crashing and all that stuff. And overall, there wasn't enough ridiculous, memorable scenes for me to really enjoy this as much as the others.
If you're gonna catch Dom, you're gonna need a little help.
You want to tell me why you just put me in a room with this tea and crumpets eating criminal?
You don't think that tight t-shirt's cutting off the circulation of your brain? You should get bigger size.
You guys are gonna work together.
Love to.
So for a bit of a background, I have watched all of the Fast and Furious films at least once. And generally, I'm not like the biggest fan of them, but I have a lot of fun with the movies. They're ridiculous and they're meant to be ridiculous. And, ever since Fast 5, the films have been actually really good. And it just, I think, I almost feel like they should have ended it with the last one. It's such a perfect send-off. But with how much money it makes, they couldn't end it like that. They need to keep churning them out. So Fate of the Furious is basically, it brings together the gang, but this time, Vin Diesel as Dom is being used to go against the team, and they have to try to stop whatever he's doing and save the day without their leader. And, it's an interesting idea because the whole idea, they're all about family, and to him go against them, it's kind of interesting, but at the same time it kind of messes with the movie because the movie isn't as fun because sometimes it's a little bit dark. And they never really explain why we should go after Dom that much. I mean, he's not like a secret agent. I mean, he can drive cars fast. But all the stuff she has him doing, a lot of it isn't really about driving cars fast. You could have had some other agent guy doing it, instead of having him do it. But it's just, it's for the story, And, right from the beginning, it starts out so ridiculous. It's so kind of sexist, where they're in Cuba and there are all these upskirt shots of these hot chicks, and there's just this. It's almost like a music video, and I think that's kind of what the directors, that's where he came from. I think from the music videos, and it felt weird. It felt a little bit out of place, and stuff that happens. Okay, he's a badass. Okay. That's the whole point of the intro, and they set up a couple other characters. But it's just kind of stupid. And then when they get into it, there's some fun stuff, but the writing is just so bad. It feels like it's written by a 12-year-old. And, all the characters are kind of cool, especially, Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson. Their interactions are kind of cool. But it's funny that The Rock and Vin Diesel, I don't know if they're in any shot together. I think there's been a rumor that there's a big feud between them where neither could lose in a fight, so instead they just don't never have them fight each other. But and Charlize Theron as the Cypher girl, it's just, she's okay, but the hair is kind of goofy, and they never really explain why she's doing what she's doing. At all. She's some evil hacker that wants to rule the world, I guess? It's just kind of stupid, and all of her hacking stuff is so idiotic. This is a slight spoiler for, the set pieces of the film, but at one point, they're trying to get this Russian ambassador's nuclear football that he's carrying around for some reason in America, and she takes control of thousands of cars through automatic drive to try to crash into the vehicles. And first off, this isn't present time. There aren't a lot of cars with automatic driving. Especially a lot of them were taxis. And it didn't look like new taxis. They weren't Teslas or something. They're just normal taxis. And somehow they have full automatic drivers that someone can hack with a push of a button and control it. And some things are cool, where they're all flying out of the parking garage. But it's just too much. It's too unbelievable. It really took me out of the movie. When just like with a push of a button, you can control all these cars. Not just like have them go forward or go backwards, but have them like all going after something and like someone's actually driving them. Like how in the hell would that work? It wouldn't. And then that same whole thing with the hacking is my biggest problem with the movie. And when it gets later, there's, from the trailer, you've probably seen like the submarine. And again, she controls the submarine with hacking. How would you hack a submarine, a nuclear submarine? If it was that easy to hack, warfare would be a big problem. That's the whole idea. If you wonder, like, our nuclear system is very analog. It's old school. With like huge hard disks, nothing is updated because they don't want any chance of someone being able to get in from far away. There's only like someone with the keys, and only someone that's in physical can use it. And for an old sub that for some reason Russian separatists have, and the Russians have no problem with letting these group have a nuclear weapon, but they can control the sub like from a distance. I mean, how? It would have to be connected to Wi-Fi or to like a satellite internet, and that wouldn't work. I mean, unless it's not like it's a drone. It's an old Cold War submarine. How would you hack that? It's just the whole thing is like, hack the planet! Oh! And it's just so stupid. Also, with the whole submarine set piece, which takes from a large part of the film, like, it's never really clear who the people were that are chasing them. Are they Russian separatists? Or are they Cypher's men? They're not very clear about anything. And it's so weird that like they have one tank has a bunch of missiles, and like he only uses a missile like once a minute to go after him. And then it's like they never actually try to kill the people that, because they have plot armor. Unless they died in a previous film that was actually a film in the future. And all that shenanigans with Fast Furious 3 or whatever it was, Drift. As a whole, you could have some fun with this movie, but I think it's just too much stupid stuff to overcome, my feeling of fun. Like, I didn't really have fun with it. Like, there weren't enough memorable things, and there weren't enough cool things. There was just a lot of goofy stuff. And one last thing, this is kind of a spoiler again too, but this whole thing, that Dom is being forced to turn on his family. And they don't really say why, in the trailers. But when they get to why in the film, it's just goofy. Especially because, there's all the things where he can't tell them why he's turning on them. And they all think that, he's gone rogue. And, this guy is all about family. And, why would he go out and change that? And, why they did it is kind of interesting. But at the same time, he's doing all these things to try to not follow her orders and try to save the day behind the scenes. But if you can do all this stuff without Charlize Theron knowing about it, why couldn't he have sent a message to his wife saying, "Oh, hey, babe, I'm not actually trying to kill you. I'm actually trying to save some person that they have." And don't worry about it. Don't try to stop me too much. I'll get out of this and we'll be together and it'll be all good. Okay, cool. Especially, all the ones kind of make sense because they say that, okay, he could have done that when he went in the one scene where he kind of snuck away. But to do that scene, he had the one guy from the beginning of the movie block off the camera's view of him. How would he have gotten contact with that guy? That Charlize Theron, she was watching him the whole time. He would have never had a chance to call this guy and get him to leave Cuba and go into America and block the camera access, which he somehow knew right where it would be. It is and then one other thing that at the end they have to go all backtrack and see what he was actually doing, and it's just some of it is just so ridiculous. But the best scene in the movie, though, is probably towards the end, and it involves Jason Statham on a plane. And that almost makes it worthy of it. I wish that too much of the up close and hand to hand combat had a lot of shaky cam, and it's weird because it looks like the stunt choreography was actually pretty good, but they still have to do the shaky cam, and it makes it look like it's tough to follow it, and it's just annoying. But they don't really use shaky cam for the car stuff that much, so I wish they just avoid that use. And overall, it's a fun movie, but it's nothing special. I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. And I wouldn't recommend it, but if you've seen the other Fast Furious films and liked them, you'll probably like this. You may not. I don't think you'll love it, but it's a decent film. Check it out if you feel like it. So thanks for watching, and you check out other video playlists around my head.